This is Brent Leary, and we are live at Dreamforce 17. Pitbull is talking in the background, but that's okay. But we're here to talk to Marie Rosecrans, who is the SVP of Marketing for SMB Marketing for Salesforce. So, Marie, thank you for making time.
I never thought I'd be competing with Pitbull, but okay.
You're way ahead of Pitbull in my book.
Oh, thank you. I knew there was a reason I liked you.
So this has been a cool day, and it's been you did the SMB keynote, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about small business essentials. But before we do that, you got to tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. So Marie Rosecrans, I, like you said, work on the SMB marketing team. I've been at Salesforce for nearly 10 years, have worked at Salesforce in a variety of capacities. Just joined this role approximately 4 to 5 months ago. Super passionate about small business. As I mentioned in the keynote, my father immigrated to the U.S. And started a small business. And, I kind of witnessed what he went through as a small business owner many, many years ago. But it's funny because I oftentimes think about what the benefit Salesforce would have had on his business had it been around back then.
That's an interesting thing to think about. So let's talk about what these small businesses are going through today, and tie it in a little bit to the theme of the keynote, the SMB keynote today, and how essential CRM is today.
So today we announced the general availability of Salesforce Essentials, which is, bringing the #1 CRM platform, Salesforce, to every small business. There are 27 million small businesses in the U.S. Maybe it's 25, and 127 million globally.
Wow.
And using email and spreadsheets to manage their business. And here at Salesforce, we really do believe that the earlier you start thinking about technology, the better off you're going to be in terms of really setting up your small business for growth long term.
You would think it's 2017, technology is all over the place, it's easier to use, it's less expensive than ever before, and yet CRM is still new to a lot of small businesses.
It is.
What do you think it's going to take, and what are you guys doing with CRM Essentials? That's my company with Salesforce Essentials for CRM. What is that going to do to help these small businesses really understand that CRM is for them, and that they can get in and start getting some benefit from it?
So first and foremost, as a company, we've made some really significant investments in Trailhead, which is a free but fun, easy, interactive way to learn not only about Salesforce, but a lot about the surrounding business processes, as well as topics that are of interest to small businesses. One of them is, why should I consider a CRM? What is CRM? And what kind of value can I gain from a CRM? At the end of the day, small businesses differentiate themselves based on the customer experience that they offer. And having a CRM, a customer relationship management solution, allows you to not only understand your customers, but also serve them in the way that they want to be served and serviced.
A lot of folks, especially on the small business side, they think heavily about customer acquisition, how do we get new customers in the door, but there's also that customer retention side, and when you see a lot of businesses today starting as recurring revenue businesses, kind of subscription based, what's the role of retention in a growing small business?
Yeah, it's everything. We just recently completed a small business trend study that said that 78% of customers will switch or basically leave your brand if you don't provide them with a positive customer experience. I fundamentally believe gaining the customer is the easy part. Keeping them is the hard part. And you always have, as a small business, as any business, but particularly as a small business where your customers are your lifeline, it could mean the difference between making payroll or not making payroll. You need to be laser focused on making sure that that customer experience that you offer is really unique and really differentiated. And even in a recurring model, you need to continue to engage and re-engage with your customer. You talk about re-recruiting your best employees. You always need to be re-engaging and engaging and re-engaging your customers.
So what were some of the big things that came out of the S&P? I know I had a chance to look at it. I really appreciated the Stella and Dot story, and of course the things that we were talking about with Cabbage and with Code. What were some of the main things that you wanted the small businesses in the audience to take away from those experiences?
Sure. So, from on the marketing piece, the co.org story that we talked about today and featured, co.org, for the benefit of your audience, is an organization, a nonprofit that is really laser focused on changing education one line of code at a time. They are trying to standardize computer science and education, just like algebra, just like chemistry. But what we talked about there was how they engage with parents and teachers, but it was all about finding prospects, right? And when you're a small business, you need an easy solution to attract those customers. And Pardot, which was one of the solutions that we talked about today, allows you to do that. And I joked during the keynote about Pardot giving me control, but Pardot does give the marketer control, or anyone in your small business that's playing that role. You may not even have a marketer on your staff, but with Pardot, you can create campaigns, emails, landing pages, and then nurture all of those leads from Pardot. One person can do that and has all of that creative leverage, and I think that that's particularly meaningful for a small business. And then we talked about sales, which was a story of Cabbage. They are an Atlanta-based fintech company that is all about providing small business loans and to businesses quickly. And what we talked about there was like taking advantage of innovations that exist in our solution today. Something like Lightning, is really important. It's a modern user interface. It's all about clicks. It's all about productivity, and small businesses need to be spending less time. They need to be working with an intuitive application, and Lightning gives us the ability to do that. We saw a lot of just great efficiencies that that any user can benefit from because of the intuitive nature of the application. And then, I joked, but I fundamentally believe it is true, that once you've found those prospects and won those deals, you need to keep those customers happy. And in this day and age, it's more than just keeping customers happy. It's really about how do I make them so happy that they're, shouting from the mountaintops. And mountaintops to me means on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, referring you to your friends. And that's the type of loyalty and brand advocacy that we need to be building, particularly in small business, and solutions like Service Cloud allow you to do that. And together, marketing, sales, and service, that single view of the customer, you're managing that entire customer journey. There's no way that you will be so successful as a small business if you are really honed in on what that customer experience looks like, and then leveraging and using that customer data to your advantage.
I can't end this without talking about AI and Einstein. It's been, over the last 12 months, you guys have really done a great job of evangelizing the importance of AI. But talk about it from a standpoint of a small business. Yeah. How can AI impact how small businesses use CRM, and what kind of things that they benefit from with using it?
Yeah, so I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that we've incorporated some elements of artificial intelligence directly into Salesforce Essentials, which we just launched. Today, small businesses, super small businesses, spend too much time with manual data entry. And in fact, that's one of the reasons why small businesses tend to abandon their CRM implementations, is what we found. And so in a Salesforce Essentials, we are really working where the customer works, in their email, in their calendar. All of that information gets automatically captured into Salesforce Essentials. And that's all done via artificial intelligence and activity capture. In terms of, to address your question specifically, I think the biggest benefit that small businesses can leverage AI most immediately is lead scoring and opportunity scoring. Oftentimes these small businesses are overwhelmed, frankly, with leads, and sometimes overwhelmed with the number of opportunities that are created. You need to be able to focus on those that are most important, that have the highest likelihood to close. And if you use artificial intelligence to help tell you that, that is no longer a manual process. You're having the data scientist, Einstein, do that for you. That's a huge productivity gain as well for your entire marketing and your sales organization. And then on the service piece as well, recommended actions are certainly recommended responses can be a huge benefit to the efficiencies and productivity of your agents. But longer term, as you look to develop your brand, your customer service, a pivotal role in helping you understand what that customer needs before they even contact you or as they're engaging you, right? Having a sense of what that customer sentiment is before you engage with them as an agent, that can create really powerful customer experiences on the other end.
We talked about you touched a little bit about Trailhead. What's the impact that you see Trailhead having, working right from within the CRM application? Because to me, having a great platform from a technical standpoint is great, but a lot of these small businesses, they don't know how to get the most out of the technology in certain instances. And CRM, I think, is one of those areas where you can have a great system, but if you really don't know what to do with it, it doesn't really help you out that much.
So, that was really one of the guiding principles for us as we were designing Salesforce Essentials, was incorporating, we knew that these very small businesses had an expectation of us that we were going to be delivering a solution that was easy to start using immediately. And what we've done is we've incorporated elements of Trailhead, I call it bite-sized chunks of Trailhead, directly into the Essentials experience. That's through really, I'll call it friendly walkthroughs, a guided setup, like those moments of delight that make that experience and engaging with the solution just positive, right? And ultimately that helps motivate the user to come back and use it again, day after day after day. And ultimately that's how they realize their value. But one of the things, I feel so strongly about where we're taking Trailhead and how it's you'll see it become part of the product experience, not only in Essentials, but quite honestly, I hope there's a forward-looking statement somewhere, but in some of our other editions as well.
There was a big announcement around a partnership with Google and Salesforce.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what it was and what it means to small businesses in particular?
Yeah, so we're super excited about the partnership with Google, particularly for our small business customers. As I announced today during the keynote, we are able and been given this opportunity to give G Suite away at no cost for 3 months, not only to Essentials customers, but also to existing Salesforce customers. So if you're an existing Salesforce customer and are interested in looking at G Suite, you have the opportunity to do that at no cost for 3 months. And that's something that we have, you can do that directly yourself if you're an existing Salesforce.com. If you're an existing Salesforce customer, you can do that directly on our Salesforce.com site. There's a capability that will allow you to request G Suite for free or at no cost. And then, of course, we'd be more than happy to talk to any Essentials customer, any new Essentials customer that would like to get access to G Suite as well. But, I mentioned earlier, customer SMBs or small businesses are in email, are in spreadsheets. Many of these now, with this partnership with Google, we have the ability to create this relationship, and then also because of that activity capture that I talked about earlier, all of that information in Gmail, in your GCal, it's directly in your CRM. How's that for awesome?
And you're able to take all that information that may be in your Gmail account with all the interactions you have, and now you can leverage it with all the CRM activity and find potentially more insights that you probably wouldn't have found any other way.
Well, and ultimately that's why you have a CRM, right? And you invest in a CRM, because if you're tracking things in spreadsheets and you're tracking things in email, what type of analytics or reports are you looking at to really tweak and refine your business, right? You're not, candidly. And having all of that information in a CRM not only allows you to understand what's going on in your business today, but ultimately continue to fine-tune and finesse your business based upon your performance and how, what you've been doing. And that's what the beauty of, that's what having all of that information in a CRM is really all about. You need to be continuing to refine, and refinement requires having an understanding of what's going on.
So there were a lot of small businesses here, but there are even more who couldn't afford to make it.
Yeah.
What takeaways from your keynote would you like every small business to know about?
Well, first of all, you can watch our keynote because it's going to be available on the website at salesforce.com/live. And then, so that's number one. Number two, for those folks that want to attend Dreamforce next year, but maybe I'll just say this because I think it's an important call out. We have a free Expo pass, so just because you can't always make the full pass work for you, that might be your full marketing budget if you're a small business. Take advantage of resources like the free Expo pass is what I say, or some of the local events. And then use Trailhead. Like, I can't say more than, that is such a huge resource that's available to our customers, but most specifically small businesses. Small businesses really want to train their employees and provide them with the resources, but oftentimes because of the cost and time that training takes, they don't invest. And Trailhead really makes that within reach.
And where can people go to learn more about Trailhead and Small Business Essentials and any other thing that they should do?
Sure. So Trailhead, www.trailhead.com. On the Salesforce website, you will see an Essentials section, and I believe it is salesforce.com/essentials. And in terms of Salesforce Live, salesforce.com/live.
Great.